Welcome to Fortune Cookies Tarot. This is Tarot Zone Marathon for New Year's. So this is going to be a pretty serious reading. I got my selenite out. I'm going to need this. So we're going to look into the former Secretary of State, HRC. We're going to see what her 2022 is going to be like. A little nervous about doing this reading, I'm going to be honest. Still going to stick with the Zodiac Houses spread, but let's see what's going to happen. I just told my whole family, my family's in different places, and I just texted them links to the live videos. They didn't know what I was doing today. We're all in different places. So hope everybody is having a good night. Hope everyone is celebrating and not overdoing it, except for the cheese. I hope you're full of cheese. I will be full of cheese in a little while. So this is HRC. Let's see what HRC's 2022 is going to be like. Let's see what's going on. Had an interesting question. Someone asked me if the president left the position and the vice president took over, does the vice president appoint a new vice president? I'm not sure. I didn't look it up. I'm not sure. I think there's a way that can happen, so I'm not 100% sure. I think there is like a weird backdoor way that can happen, but I'm not 100%. So if you do know something about that, please comment below. Like, share, and subscribe. This is my own opinion. We're just reading tarot cards here, but we're going to do a little HRC. And Raven has a lot to say about that. Well, she only had a little bit to say. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh. You know, I keep doing this a little bit weird. So, like, I'm going to do it the way I usually do. I'm trying to do it so y'all can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And we're going to get our 13th card in the middle. HRC, HRC. What do we see for HRC? Crack right in the middle, upside down. Fool in reverse. Let's see what Maribel sees. So, self-position, public image is still in the negative. We're still don't have a really good public image here. There's more people that dislike than like. So that is not surprising given the 2016 turnout. So we're seeing definitely not a shining sign here for 2022. There's definitely some hopeful feelings, though. I'm getting some intuitive feelings here that there is a secret wish in the middle of all this. So maybe we'll get to that as we get a little bit closer. Values. Ace of Swords is in reverse. Now, the swords can be truth. The swords can be legal truths. It can also be communication, can be language, talking to people, ideas, expressing ideas, that sort of thing. So having the Ace of Swords in reverse in the values house is troubling. Again, you know, that's not the best thing in the world. Come here, Raven. Raven's here. She wants to say hi to everyone. I don't know if you can see her face. She's about to stick it in. You can see her shadow there. So Raven's our border collie. She is very interested in tarot. She loves tarot. So we're moving on to our third house, which is the house of communications. And we've got our Eight of Cups in reverse. Now, eights are right at the eights are always speed and movement and the execution, things going quickly, things happening. So the Eight of Cups upright is moving from maybe not so great things to better things, moving on to something that's unknown, maybe moving on to challenges, endeavors that may require additional work from one. When this is in reverse, this is, not getting stuck on the idea. This is like a record skipping. This is not moving forward, not letting go, not trusting the process, not moving forward and finding new things to focus on and get involved in. So this is really a stuck card, stuck by thought, because we have the thought here, but also stuck by circumstance. So when we read these three cards together, really tells me that there's negative perspective, negative press, not so great intent and morality here, and a refusal to change course, a refusal to develop another manner of getting from A to B, if that makes sense. So we're going to move on. Moving on to home. Home is still Hermit in reverse. The Hermit is using his information, the data that he has, the research and the wisdom that has been handed off to him to consider and move forward and make decisions that are right and just and fair and balanced and decisive. So when we've got our Hermit in reverse, the Hermit is on an island, not by choice, but by circumstance. Again, we're back into this circumstance thing. We're really stuck where we can't move forward by the self not changing course and by the public not buying what they're selling. So we've got that here. And going on to pleasures is our Knight. We have a Knight of Wands there. The Knights, and I'm sorry if you can't see, I'm just going to move them up a little bit so you can see a little bit more. So the Knights, very enthusiastic. One of the gals that I read with, she doesn't like the Knight. She thinks all the Knights are shady, and I've said this in other readings. I don't find the Knights entirely shady, but I find them a bit less thoughtful in their actions. They move a bit quickly. They especially the Knight of Wands. He really leaps before he looks. He doesn't really pay attention to everything that's around him. He's got great ideas. Certainly when he's upside down, the ideas are maybe not as wholesome and good, well intended. When he's upright, he sometimes is just moving forward by force. It's a fiery energy, so you have to remember the wands are always fiery. So this is somebody who is sparked up, who's excited, who's moving forward, and get the hell out of his way. His horse is rearing up, the horse is fired up. He's going to get from A to B, whether you like it or not. So really is moving forward, and that is the drive and the passion that we have here for pleasure is for power. It's for winning. There's a sense of winning here. The Knight of Wands is very, very, very competitive. He is not going to lose. He's not going to accept any kind of loss. He's never going to concede. I did say that. He is not going to concede. So moving on, health sector. The health sector, we're seeing the Five of Swords. And the Five of Swords is, fours are a position of stability. When we go into the fives are conflict, cooperative working, that sort of kind of vibe where you're getting in there and you're making some adjustments. Those of you that follow my Taste of Tarot teaching series, it has little mini lessons in there. They're mini lessons based on the coursework that I do teach. I teach a more robust course privately and in a group setting. So the fives, we get into a situation where we are working with others, pivoting, trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. I give the example of building a house. So 4 is we get the first floor built. 5, everybody gets there. We've got plumbers, we've got electricians, we've got drywall guys, we've got tilers, we've got everybody working together to try and get the house inside put together. So you could go one of two ways. You can either have your construction team working cooperatively, or they can be getting in each other's way, just like in the money pit. So this tells me that there's some conflict with it, because it's in the health sector. There's some conflict, maybe the stress of the last few years, maybe the stress of the last few decades has taken its toll, and it's time to this year stop and reflect and look back and decide, was it worth it? The 5 of Swords always tells us to take a look and say, well, was the battle worth it? Was it worth the fight? Should we have done this? Should we, are we better having fought the good fight? Are we better having fought the fight? It doesn't necessarily have to be the good fight. So this is, a clear message that, inventory should be taken. So definitely, I feel intuitively that there's some stress that's been put on her, and she needs to make some assessments of, whether it's, sorry, I hit that camera again, whether it's time to move forward or move on. That's, really the message that I want to convey is, is it time to move over, get in another lane, maybe slow down, maybe get in the back seat. How about that? So let's move on to our next 3. So we have relationships, lessons, and spirituality. Relationships, we have the Hierophant. The Hierophant is our Pope card, looking at things from a lofty moral position. There's Raven, guys. She's saying happy New Year. So looking at things from a lofty and moral place. Maybe this is a reconsideration of the foundations of the relationship, really taking a look at it from a perspective of a very different place. This isn't looking from I don't want to say extraterrestrial, but like a terrestrial place. It's like looking at the relationship as it affects the soul, not as it affects the person and the person here on earth. So there's some consideration that she's making. I'm getting the sense that there's judgment there. The Hierophant is making some judgments and passing some judgments and making some decisions. So relationship wise, there's some decision making going on here, and definitely a different way of thinking about things. I get the sense that the orbits have been very, very separate, and the decision making has been very, very separate for some time. But there's, they're circling here, and then there's like a much bigger picture that's here. So, there is some interlocking, but not on the reg. So, so that's our relationship house. We're going over to lessons, illuminations. The judgment card in reverse tells us that there's very little illumination here. Mistakes and wrongdoing is still not seen as mistakes and wrongdoing. There's no contrition. There's no acceptance of something that has been done wrong. The heels are dug in. The heels are dug in here. And again, this is a tarot reading. I'm just reading the cards. This is, my opinion only. It's for entertainment purposes only. Entertainment purposes. So, there's not there's no illumination here. There's no acceptance that, of wrongdoing. There's no wrongdoing, acceptance of wrongdoing there. So that's all I got to say about that. Moving on to spirituality, the King of Cups is full of love, but what I'm getting here, it's full of self-love. This is preservation of the self. I'm surprised that this card is not in reverse. I feel like this card should be in reverse, and therefore, intuitively, I am putting it in reverse. There's a lot of self-interest here, and it's in all of this here. Self-interest in the relationship, self-interest in the illuminations, self-interest in the lessons that need to be learned, and also the spirituality and self. This can also be like a publishing sector. We can be talking about some of the publishing and the information that's put out via publishing. So this also could be promoting a very, very cleaned up perspective, maybe to deflect what we saw over here with this negative perspective. Moving on to career, future, subconscious or shadow self. So that's the career card. I don't know if I really need to say anything about that. So those of you that follow, the 10 of Swords is the done, done, done. So it looks like career time is done. It just looks like that. So, here I saw not willing to give it up. This is saying career is over. Time to retire. Go play golf. I don't know if she plays golf, but maybe she should play golf. Future visions. Again, she's still trying to keep the dream alive. Keep the dream alive. I know Masterclass just had her do a masterclass, and she read the speech that she would have read in 2016 had things been different. She's still hanging on to that. So, the fire's not starting. With the wands, our King of Wands is a fire starter, tender, and controller. He's upside down for her, so that's not happening in the future. So I'm sorry, I'm just reading the cards, just my opinion. And we finally have shadow self, anxieties, fears, that sort of thing. The Four of Cups when upright. This is our ennui card. This is boredom and just kind of being over it and not being impressed with what the world has to offer you, and just looking for something more dazzling, looking for something more exciting, sometimes not seeing the good things that are in front of you. When we get into reverse, this is delusion. We're now in a sense of delusion, so that and I don't think this is really subconscious versus shadow self in this reading. This is very, very delusional thinking. There's still a chance. There's still a chance. There's still a chance. And the overwhelming energy is the Fool in reverse, which is moving ahead without any common sense, without seeing uh, the things beside you, not having blinders on, leaping off that cliff and just saying, well, I want it, so I'm going to go get it. I want it. It's going to be mine. It's like Rocket in, oh, what was that movie? I can't remember, but the raccoon, Bradley Cooper played him. I want it more, so it's mine. This is, beating that dead horse, beating it to death. It's, the game is up. The game is up, so you got to give it up. So there is my HRC reading, and I hope you are all having a great night. I will be back. I will continue to do these. I know I'm getting a few people here and there. I should just stay on and just keep reading them, but then I can't title them, so you won't be able to search them later. But I hope you are having a fantastic new year. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing and subscribing. And I will be back. Thank you so much.